Today we're building a SaaS app that can edit images using only text prompts. I'm going to sketch the app in MS Paint and let AI write the app based on my mockup. We'll explore valuable use cases like design work or creating YouTube thumbnails. Alright, let's dive in. Here I am in the Aidolons app editor, and before we get started, there's a few settings that I want to change. First of all, I'm going to turn off the auto update scaffolding because there's something specific that I want to do. And now, if you saw my last video, you'll know that I actually like GPT-5. I don't care what anybody says, this thing is churning out good apps. So let's go ahead and give this a title. We'll call it Magic Image Editor. So now I'll just jump over to the scaffolding, and what I want is under image generation, under AI edit, and it's going to be this flux context model. All right, and that'll give my app access to this model. So now I'll hop back over to the chat. Okay, now for this app, I have a vision. So I'm going to actually just use Microsoft Paint because we really do not have to be fancy. And I'm just going to give it a super rough sketch of what I want. So down here, I just want to make a text box, and right next to it, we'll put a button. Then up here, we're going to have one image and two images and maybe something like this. All right, then I'm just going to select everything. I'm going to Control-C copy, and I'll jump back here. Let's get rid of the settings window. And now I can just paste this image in here. All right, so I'm actually just going to walk the agent through with images. So here we'll put some text as though the user was typing. The user wants to generate an image of mountains. So we'll just scribble some mountains over here. As you can see, I am an extraordinary artist. We'll put a nice sun over here. Once again, we'll select all, Control-C, jump back here, and we'll paste it in. All right, so now for the next phase, we'll get rid of this text right here, and I'll pretend like I know how to use Paint. And now we're going to change it to make it cloudy. And we'll copy paste all of this and place it gently in here and fix my line because I broke it. Surgical precision. Cool. And isn't there like a spray brush somewhere? Yeah, there it is. Man, I haven't legitimately used Paint since I was like 12. And we'll spray on some clouds here. Okay, so I think it'll get the gist of this, but there's one more thing I want to do real quick. All right, I'm going to create two little buttons down here, and these buttons will allow the user to either approve or deny the edit. And I'll copy this whole thing, paste it in, and last one, I promise. So now I'm going to take this edited version of the mountains, and I'm going to copy it and put it over here. Now we'll just erase all of this and get rid of my buttons. So basically through these images, I'm just describing the flow. Oh, and I guess we should get rid of these words down here. It's just kind of taking the AI through the user experience of using this app. And I'm going to be completely honest, I did not test this before recording this video. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope it works. But I suspect it will because we're also going to give it a good prompt. All right, so I just pasted in this big prompt, and basically all it does is describe in words what I showed with the images. And by having this level of information, like at this point, there's just really no excuse for a model to get it wrong. But I just want to show you how I'm writing this, how I'm choosing my words, right? So I say, build an image editing app. There will be two panels side by side, which will represent the before and after. The before panel will allow you to choose an image via the asset chooser. Alternatively, the user can also generate an image with the prompt box at the bottom. It will only generate images if there is no image currently in the left panel. All right, so what I want to show you here is that I'm being very colloquial. Like, I'm not being super technical, but I am being very specific. I'm telling it exactly what I want it to be like. And I mean, this isn't the only way to go. You can just put in whatever and see what it comes up with and then iterate on it. But in this case, I knew exactly what I wanted, and I know because I've been doing this for a while that the more specific I am, the higher chance of success we're going to have. So I'm going to send this off. Okay, and now it has all of my images and my prompt, and this takes a little while, so I'm going to pause the video and come back in a minute. All right, so it looks like it's all done, and it looks like it didn't put them side by side like I wanted, but let's see if it works. So here we'll just say mountains. And now if it understood the assignment, then it should generate the image. This should definitely be up here. All right, but at least it put the generated image in the correct place. And now let's say, make it nighttime. Hit enter. All right, well, that's in the right spot. All right, and it looks like that worked pretty well. And here's my accept reject button. The location is weird. I think that those should be down here at the bottom. Interestingly, I'm looking at this message and he actually said that he did that. Or he just made an executive decision there. So let's hit accept and see what happens. All right, and it moved to the before, exactly like it was supposed to. All right, so now let's say put a bird in front of the moon. And what I want to see now is what happens if I hit the cancel button. All right, it put the bird over here on the mountain, which I guess is technically in front of the moon. All right, so now let's see what happens. You know, we can say that this is a bad result because what I wanted was to put it in front of the moon. So now I can hit the X and indeed it's gone now. And then I can run this again and maybe this time it'll give a better result. And there we go, the second time nailed it. So let's hit the check mark. All right, pretty cool. So it got most of it right, but there's a few things that I want to fix. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell the agent exactly what's wrong. I'm going to tell it fix the following issues. Number one, the panels should be side by side and everything should fit into a single viewport. Currently, the panels are stacked vertically. All right, and what I did here, besides just telling what's wrong, I told it what the current behavior is. See, because the agent might think that it did it right. It might not be able to realize that it actually did the layout wrong. All right, so 2, I'm generating the first image. The generating image text should appear in the right panel, but it appears in the left. When editing, it correctly shows in the left panel. Now again, I added this last sentence here because I didn't want it to move all of the generating text to the right panel. And then finally, 3, put the accept reject buttons in the bottom right of the right panel. So I'll just send this off, give it time to figure out what it did, and we'll see if we can fix it. All right, so this is already starting to shape up quite a bit here. You can see it looks a lot better than it did before. It seems to have fixed all of the problems that I told it, but there are still just a few things that I think we can improve on. So I'm gonna go back and forth with it just a few times and see if I can get it exactly the way that I want it. All right, so we've gone back and forth a few times now, and I think it's looking pretty good. So let's go view it in full screen mode, and let's try it with something actually useful. So I've got this thumbnail here. This is the thumbnail for my last video. And what I want to do is change the text to build SaaS apps with GPT-5. Let's see how it does. All right, and it looks like it did what we wanted it to do. Make sure the accept button works. All right, everything looks like it's working correctly. So now we can iterate on this. And let's say, make the guy on the left look even more stressed. Okay, all right, he looks something. Just to make sure that everything's working correctly, let's hit reject and see what it does. And yeah, it looks like we have a properly working image editing app. And of course, if I wanted to, I could now put this into my WordPress site. Eidolons will take care of all of the credits, all of the models. You can just worry about being creative and collecting money. So be sure to watch my video on that if you haven't already. All right, guys, that's it. Hope you find this helpful. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.